What is going on, gang? It is Elijah back with another video, and this video comes with a little bit of frustration, so I'm gonna apologize in advance if I get a little disrespectful or if I hurt your feelings. And if you know me, I'm not big with all the edit stuff. I just like to be super honest and tell guys what they need to hear. I'm not into all the flashy dopamine hits of lights and all this crazy stuff. I just want to tell you exactly the truth that men need to hear. In this video, I want to talk about more than just the benefits of that health, longevity. Of course, we all know that being in great physical shape, is going to increase your longevity, help you live a longer, more fulfilled, happier life. You can chase your kids around this stuff. But I want to tell you about the things that people don't think about and the dangers that not being in shape presents if you do not take care of yourself and put effort into your life. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So this is the reason why all men must be in phenomenal shape. So I want to start by saying being jacked tells the world exactly who you are without you saying a word. Every man wants to be strong and lean. Like, you put two men side by side. One is fat, one looks like a garbage bag, and the other one is lean and jacked, like me, right? And you ask this guy, which one does he want to be? 10 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100, he's gonna say he prefers to be lean and jacked. And you can choose to say looks don't matter, but the truth is, that's the first thing that the world sees about you. When you hop out of your car, a girl sees how you look before she ever knows your personality. So if you do have a great personality as a guy and you think that's gonna get you by in life, that's gonna help you find a woman that's gonna be attracted to you, you can hang it up. Because if you look awful, no girl is gonna ever get close enough to understand if you have a great personality, bro. When I look at a man who is out of shape and he looks like the Michelin tire man, I see a man who has disrespected himself and lied to himself continuously day after day. Because like I said, every man wants to be lean. And if you're sitting there and you're okay with being fat, that tells me that you have looked yourself in the mirror every single day and said that I want to look better, but I'm not gonna do anything about it. You are lazy. That's what that tells me about you, because everybody wants to be in shape. Everybody was gonna choose the lean, healthy, muscular guy instead of the fat guy with the skinny guy. But you're choosing to live this lower version of reality. So I can't even trust you. I don't want my message to come off as arrogant, and there's a big difference between arrogance and confidence. But I know every single day I do what I say I'm gonna do. I say I'm gonna run, I go run. I say I'm going to work out, I'm gonna work out. I say I'm going to have a clean, healthy, full meal, I'm gonna have that clean, healthy, full meal. And of course, every once in a while, I fall off track just like everybody else does. But 10 times out of 10, I get back on the track. And an arrogant person is somebody who does not do any of those things. They lie to themselves repeatedly. They look at somebody who doesn't take care of themselves, and they also don't take care of themselves. But instead of them just being a real person, they're going to sit there and judge somebody else and make somebody else feel bad when they're not doing the thing that they're doing. But since I walk the walk, I can sit here and call you fat and lazy because I know exactly where you are, and I've been there before myself. And that's why I make these videos, to help you guys get out of that weird spot where you just like want to make this change, but you don't exactly know how. So I'm trying to make you more aware that you are also the leader of your pack. You are setting the example for your kids. You drop down and do 10 push-ups. Drop down and do 10 push-ups in front of your son and see if that little 2 or 3-year-old don't start busting out push-ups too. You put a donut in your mouth and see if your son don't start reaching for that donut, your nephew, your little brother. Your kids, or just young people in general, little guys in general, little guys and gals, they are watching every single thing you do. So when you are doing all these bad habits, you're training your kids to grow up and do the same things you're doing. So what example do you want to set for your kids? And your kids are not the only thing. You have a wife too, or you have a girl too. If you don't have a girl, that's all right. But if you have a girl or a wife, her and your kids should feel completely safe when you're around. When they walk in a room, they should be able to breathe and relax because daddy's home, because big bro is home, because uncle's home. I mean, if you truly love and care for your family, shouldn't you want to do everything you can possibly do to make them feel strong and safe and just confident around you? Why would you not do anything that you can to make your family's life even better and more carefree, right? So that brings us to my next point. Your love means more when you're capable of chaos. And got my boy Batman here because I love Batman. I'm a big Batman guy because he went through hard stuff and he became Batman. He doesn't have any crazy superpowers. He's just a G, right? He went through some trouble, watched his family get murdered in front of him, and he decided instead of sit there and cry about it, he disappeared. Disappeared and became a monster, right? So most men are harmless and they're weak. They're not virtuous. So a lot of guys, you know, they want to give off this good guy vibe, and you know, I don't like to raise my voice. You don't show these emotions, or you let people run over you, and you never ever engage in conflict. You never fight back and stand up for yourself, and you mask it and say that you're this good guy, and like, I'm just a good guy, man. I don't really get into all that. But the truth is, if you were capable, if you were strong as crap, and you knew how to fight a little bit, you choosing to control yourself would be virtuous, because you could do something. You are capable of chaos, but you're choosing to keep the sword sheathed, right? If you can't do anything about it, you're just a little worm, right? So it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. Like, this isn't about trying to beat up people. You're not trying to get in the gym and take care of yourself so you can fight better and just beat up people and just be a bully, right? That's not the point. But you want to be prepared for whatever life throws at you. And I'm not saying you got to go train martial arts every single day, even though I think that's an added plus, and I'm about to get into a little bit of that myself. But I'm saying that you should look intimidating enough where that will prevent most guys from even testing you or your family. When your shirt comes off, it should be obvious that you train. It should be obvious that you put some work in. You're not afraid of a little bit of pain. And the great thing about being in phenomenal shape is that just by you having some muscle on you being bigger than the average guy, you look intimidating, and that alone will prevent most altercations. So by literally you just trying to become a better version of yourself, getting healthy, lean, and fit, you're going to prevent most of the chaos, most of the danger that may be thrown at your family, because that's reality. And that's what happens in the real world. And the only way to prevent it is to become capable to where if something does pop off, you got it. And if things don't pop off, that's okay too, but at least you're ready. And knowing how to fight is really just a plus. Now, I did a little bit of wrestling. Well, I was a pretty good wrestler in high school, did some boxing as well. I don't train that type of stuff consistently. Now I'm more so focused on building a big, stronger physique, but I'm also very aware of how important it is to be capable. So me and myself, I'm about to start getting back into some of that boxing type stuff, maybe some Muay Thai, a little bit of MMA, because I understand the value of being more capable, right? And going back to the main point, it's not about trying to learn how to fight or become a stronger version of yourself so you can beat up people or be a bully. It's about being prepared for the real world. And the real world is there's people out here that have bad intentions. And I want to be the most capable, the most prepared I can possibly be. So when that situation comes, I'm prepared for battle. But like I said, just by you taking care of yourself, you trying to be as strong as you can be, being capable, you're going to prevent most stuff. So you don't have to know how to fight, but that's just a plus. So I want to give you 3 things that you should focus on when trying to build a powerful, strong body. I'm not just going to sit here and talk down in this video. If you are sitting here with jelly rolls and titties, I don't want to make you feel that bad without giving you something to apply, right? So if you're still here, I'm going to give you 3 things that you should focus on if you want to build a strong and powerful body. And the first things first, you need to make protein the center of your diet. Nutrition is by far the biggest area that you need to be focusing on when it comes to trying to build a strong body. And by making protein the center of your diet, you want to be doing 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you should be getting anywhere from 170 grams of protein to 200 grams of protein, right? If you aren't getting protein in, you're not going to build muscle, because protein itself are the building blocks of muscle. Without protein, there is no muscle growth. When you tear your muscles down in the gym, it's protein that goes inside of those tears and rebuilds them so it comes back stronger. And another thing, if you are overweight, protein is going to increase your metabolic rate. So side note here, the more muscle you have, the faster your metabolism is going to be. So that's why it makes so much more sense in the beginning to focus on building as much muscle as possible. Unless you're just ridiculously overweight, then in that case you should probably start off trying to lose a little bit of weight, but I'm not going to get into all that. But protein also has all 9 of the essential amino acids. Now, amino acids are work in conjunction with protein. Without amino acids, the protein can't actually be used. So you have protein, that is the building blocks that builds muscle, and then your essential amino acids, your EAAs, those are the building blocks for protein. So you need both of these. And meat, animal protein, contains all 9 of those proteins. So if you're a vegan, if you're some type of vegetarian, you like these plant protein powders, I mean, that's cool. I think I've seen some people online that that claim they're vegans and they do plant stuff, and you know, some of them guys are anomalies and they look great. Cool. But if you are like most people, you need to get your essential amino acids, all of your amino acids from animal proteins, things like chicken, things like, you know, steak. I don't know about the pork. You know, if you want pork, cool, but preferably poultry and steak, fish, etc. Cheese, eggs, great. Cholesterol. Another side note, you need to be eating eggs. Eggs are mostly cholesterol. Cholesterol does what? Helps your body produce more testosterone. If you're a man, testosterone is what makes you feel more like a freaking man. So I don't care what you've heard about eggs are bad and don't eat eggs, it's gonna give you a heart attack, high cholesterol. Bro, you're a man, you need eggs. If you want to have testosterone, you need to be eating eggs every single day. If you're not eating eggs, you have no testosterone and you're probably gonna start producing titties at some point. I'm kidding. You don't have to eat eggs every single day, and it's not gonna make you grow titties if you don't, but you should eat eggs every single day. They absolutely will increase your testosterone. But at the end of the day, if all else fails, get your protein in. Like, you're counting your macros, whatever day goes by, you lose track of the day. If all else fails, get your protein in at all costs. Second part, when it comes to training, you want to be exhausting all of your muscle groups with 3 to 4 training days. And within these 3 to 4 training days, if you aren't sore the next day, you probably didn't train hard enough. So you want to be going to failure. Now, what does going to failure mean, right? So let's just say I'm going for 15 reps on a set. When it comes to that 12th, 13th rep, it start getting pretty rough, right? But on that 14th, 15th rep, if you don't have a spotter, those 14th, 15th reps should be some grinder reps, right? Like, you should be really struggling. Now, if you have a spotter behind you or whatever you're doing, or you're doing an exercise where like you don't need a spotter, you want to push it, you want to have enough weight. You're going to be using enough weight to where on that 15th rep, like, you can't even do a 15th rep. So same thing goes if you're doing like 5 reps. If you're going to failure, if you have a spotter, you're doing an exercise that doesn't need a spotter, that 5th rep, you should be hitting that 5th rep and like have to stop because your muscles are exhausted because you're using so much weight. You're going so intense that you're failing at 5 reps. So failure doesn't mean, there's this weird thing when people think when you say failure that you're just supposed to go for 40 or 50 reps, but you can fail at 2 reps, you can fail at 30 reps. Failure is just a way to measure intensity, right? And if you were trying to build the most muscle as possible, every single workout, your 3 to 4 workouts a week, need to be going to failure as intense as possible, progressively overloading every single day you come in there. You need to be trying to add more weight every single time. Push yourself one step further every single time. So if you are natural like myself, lifting 5 to 7 days a week is dumb. And I put in parentheses, you know, I do this sometimes because I actually like working out. But truthfully, I understand that when my body is sore, when I've torn my muscles down, when I've had a great workout and I'm sore the next day, I know if I train that same muscle group or if I train that same muscle group 2 or 3 days later, twice in a week, I know I'm not gonna get much growth out of it, or I may actually hurt my gains. But see, me, I don't really go out and party. I don't do all that crazy stuff. Every once in a while I'll have a drink, but I don't do all that crazy stuff. So going to the gym is my way of social interaction. Like, I see people when I go to the gym. Like, I actually enjoy it. I'm having a good time. I'm pumping weights now. Veins are popping out. I'm looking crazy. You know what I mean? So I love going to the gym. So I sometimes go 6 to 7 days a week, which is not recommended. So if you're a beginner, or really if you're anyone watching this video and your goal is to build as much muscle as possible, to get as jacked as possible, you can do it in 3 to 4 days. Don't let anyone tell you that you need to be in the gym 6 days a week, 5 days a week to build muscle, right? I just do this because I actually enjoy working out. If you follow my Instagram, I post stories every single day, and most days of the week, at least 5 days a week, I'm actually working out. But I also know that if I worked out 3 or 4 days, I get better results. I just like working out. But if you're watching this video and you don't know what to do in the gym, and you just need like a quick 3-day workout routine, if you look in the description of this video, you're gonna see a free 3-day workout routine that is just for you, right? It's not personalized or anything, but if you're a beginner, or if you're a beginner to moderate, this is gonna be a great program that you can apply today. Start getting some gains. It's gonna be somewhere along the lines of where you're doing a push day, a pull day, and a leg day. So all of your muscles are getting smacked in the week or across the week, right? So check the description if you want that free workout program. Moving on to the third point, you need to be in a slight caloric surplus or a slight deficit if you are extremely fat. So a caloric surplus means that you are eating more calories, you're consuming more calories than you are burning. And a deficit is just when you are burning more calories than you are consuming. So you want to be eating, whether you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, build muscle, lose fat, even though you can do both of those things at the same time with body recomposition, but not going to spiral into that. But you need to be eating 80% whole food. So 80% of the time, you need to be eating home cooked or whole, entire, single ingredient foods. And then the other 20%, you know, keep whatever you want to eat. You know, if you're really crazy about pizza, have pizza 20% of the time. But if you're trying to be super dialed, you need to push that 80% to like 90%. So it should be like 1 meal per week. You're actually, you know, eating whatever you want. Because if you're trying to eat, you know, three cheat days a week, you're not gonna get much progress unless you are super skinny and like you really just need the extra calories. I can see a case for that. That's kind of how I started off. But if I would have known how important it was to eat whole foods and how much better my gains would be and how much more muscle I would gain just by eating whole, entire, home cooked, or if not home cooked, whole single ingredient meals when I was going out, I would be way further along. I would have gotten to this physique way quicker than I did when I first started. But you want to be trying to focus your calories around workouts. And I say this, it's kind of, I don't want to make this confusing, but you want to be making sure you're eating a meal before you work out and after you work out. I know there's some people like to work out fasted. That is stupid. Your body needs carbohydrates, or your body needs food in general, but especially carbohydrates before you work out to fill your muscles with energy, get that glycogen stores filled up so you can have a good strong workout. And when you get done, you want to have a high protein meal, mostly protein meal along with carbohydrates to one, refill the glycogen stores in your muscles, but also give your muscles that protein it needs to rebuild, come back stronger, and of course get more jacked. Now, if you want to be super precise, I really recommend you track your macros. And you don't have to. My first few years of my journey, I did not track macros. I just knew my body well enough. I knew what it felt like when I was in a deficit. I knew what it felt like when I was eating too much or eating in a surplus, right? And you can listen to your body, but if you're a beginner, you really probably don't know your body well enough to just listen to your body. Like now, I track my macros every once in a while just to make sure, but most of the time I'm not tracking. But if you're a beginner, you really need to understand, you know, what your body needs to gain weight versus lose weight, and build muscle versus lose fat, or do both, because you can also do both. But quick example, a little visual here. If you're eating 2,500 total calories and you burn 2,000 calories, you got 500 calories left over that will be stored as fat, protein, or both. So that would make you in a calorie surplus, right? 500 calorie surplus. And as long as you're getting the protein in, as long as you're getting, you know, good high quality food in, most of that will convert to muscle. And you'll notice that I say that 250 to 500 calories is plenty, because if anything more than that, you're most likely going to get into a bad situation where you're storing more fat than you are building muscle. Realistically, if you're a beginner, maybe you can gain a pound of muscle per month, maybe 2 pounds of muscle per month. But after about a year, those newbie gains are gone. And at my point, I mean, I'm lucky if I gain half a pound of muscle a month. You know, it's really hard for me if I gain 5 pounds of muscle across an entire year, that's a win, because I've been training for 10 freaking years, 12 years now. Wow, 12 years now. So don't listen to these people that are talking about dirty bulks. Like I said, eat clean whole foods, try to track your macros if you can, if you want to be precise. But at the end of the day, that's pretty much it. So I hope this helped. I just want to make it super clear that although eating clean, you know, training your body and, you know, exhausting your muscles, like all this stuff is important to build a big, strong, powerful physique. And, you know, doing all these things are going to increase your overall health, increase your longevity. I just want to make it more aware that there are other things that we don't think about all the time, that being in great physical condition, you know, is going to help, like just being a stronger, more capable person. I want to circle back. I promise you, like your kids, the people you are leading, are watching everything you do. You drop down and do 10 push-ups in front of that little boy or your little brother, your son, nephew, and I promise you that little 2-3-year-old will start doing push-ups. If you're stuffing your face with this garbage, you're training your kids to do the same thing. If you're walking around with jelly rolls as a man, you're not taking care of yourself, you're training your kid to make him think that's okay. When he goes to school, he just might get bullied because he watched you his entire life not take care of himself, not make his health a priority. And keep in mind that the world is dangerous. And if you want to prevent most things, most bad situations, dude, just get jacked. Get in phenomenal shape. People just don't even test you when you look like you could possibly hurt them. And if you want to push it one step further, you need to learn how to fight. Be capable of chaos. Don't be a bully. Don't be somebody that walks around thinking he's freaking Johnny Bravo and thinks he's a man, but just make sure you have a sword, but you just keep it sheathed. Choose to be capable and confident, but don't be crazy with it. Don't let your head get too big. Just keep your control. If you're trying to be this man, you think you're a man, and you're walking around and you look like a tree branch, or you look like the Michelin tire man, and you're still trying to be this confident guy, you're walking around thinking you're the man, you are arrogant. You are trying to be somebody you're not, and you haven't done the work required to actually be that man. But that's enough of me griping and moaning on why you should be in shape. I really do hope you guys did get some value out of this video. And if you are watching, remember, and you need help with a workout routine, I got a free 3-day workout program, routine, in the description of this video. Click on that and get your workouts. But other than that, guys, man, I appreciate you watching. Hope you guys have a phenomenal day and come back next time. Let's go!